Welcome to another Titus Timeout podcast. This is Mark Costello, and today we'll continue our discussion of mounting diffusers in suspended ceiling grids. We had a lot of feedback and questions after part 1 on ceiling grids, so let's review. The two most common types of tees are flat tees. The most widely used is the 15/16 wide flat tee, also referred to nominally as a 1-inch or standard tee. There is also a 9/16 wide flat tee known as a narrow tee. What makes matters confusing is that there's a second narrow tee known as the bolt slot tee. If you're old enough, you may know these as Don Fine Line tees. These are both narrow tees, but the second is a specific bolt slot tee and requires a specific type of frame. So, there are two narrow tees. What do I use for each tee? The answer probably depends on what tiles are being used. A basic or standard ceiling tile is flat and lies flush on the rear of the tee face. For a long time, the 1-inch tees and flat tiles were all that were available. All ceiling mounted products made their products to fit into the system, and they still do. Standard flat tiles are also commonly used with 9/16 inch wide flat tees. If a standard flat ceiling tile is used with a flat narrow tee, a standard lay-in border is used. Since the flat tile is the same as the 1-inch tee, so is the diffuser, a Type 3 lay-in border style. And the fact that the diffuser face will be flush with the adjacent tiles means that we do not have to worry about affecting performance. A second type of tile exists that's called a drop face ceiling tile. These tiles sit on a 15/16 or 9/16 inch flat tee, and the tile drops through the opening, giving the tee a recessed look. This type of tile is called a tegular tile. Tegular means tile-like, in that the ceiling will mimic a ceramic tile surface with tees recessed like grout between ceramic tiles. For 15/16 inch wide tees, the part of the tegular tile that drops through the opening is 23 inches wide. This is designed for a snug fit in the 23 1/16 inch opening. Any Titus model with DF will work in a 15/16 drop face application. The opening between 9/16 inch tees is 23 7/16 inches wide, which is wider than the 15/16 tee opening. This is the difference between a DF model and an NT model in terms of the product that will fit in these systems. In a 9/16 inch wide drop face, the portion of the tile that drops through the opening is 23 3/8 inches wide, not 23 like the DF model for the 15/16 inch tees. The DF and NT models should not be used interchangeably. Only an NT border should be used in a bolt slot or narrow tee application. So why should only an NT border be used with a bolt slot grid and tegular tile? The number one reason is safety. The design of the NT border with a 23 3/8 inch wide drop and an overall dimension of 23 3/4 means that only 3/16 of an inch of border sits on the tee. The snug fit of the NT face within the tee allows very little side-to-side movement and ensures the product will stay on the grid. The second important reason to use only an NT border in the bolt slot and or tegular tile system is performance. A standard lay-in border can be installed in a tegular or bolt slot system, but the bolt slot tee or adjacent tegular tiles will interfere with the diffuser's ability to throw air horizontally, and airflow will be deflected downward into the occupied zone. Only an NT border should be used with a narrow tee and tegular tile application. This ensures optimum performance and the desired aesthetics. There are a great many varieties of ceiling grid system names out there, but the standard tee, narrow tee, flush tile, and tegular tile are 90% of what you need to know in how to specify the correct ceiling diffuser. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and thanks for taking a time out with Titus.